Good morning. This morning, I'm having coffee with the Lord, and I've been reading John chapter 5 this morning, and I found something pretty cool and encouraging. It's where Jesus went to that pool over by the sheep gate, and so 5:3 says, "Here a great number of disabled people used to lie, the blind, the lame, and the paralyzed." So right here already in verse 3, it says used to. So those people aren't there anymore. I wonder what happened to them. But if you keep going, it says, one who was there had been an invalid for 38 years. Like this guy couldn't do anything for 38 years. That's like almost as old as I am. Like, could you imagine not being able to do anything for 38 years? And then it goes on to say, when Jesus saw him lying there and learned that he had been in this condition for a long time, he asked him, "Do you want to get well?" Well, first of all, in verse 6, I was like, Jesus learned. Like, I'm pretty sure like he already knew. But sometimes it helps when we talk to the Lord like he doesn't know. I mean, I've been there, like, just in case you don't know. But I thought that was pretty funny. But he asked him, "Do you want to get well?" So if you've identified with being unwell for a long period of time, that can become like an identity. And we need to make up in our minds that, in our hearts, that we want to get well. But he didn't even, he didn't say too much in there. He just said, "Do you want to get well?" And the man's response was, Sir, the invalid replied, "I have no one to help me into the pool when the water is stirred. While I'm trying to get in, someone else goes down ahead of me." And this morning when I read that, it's like, I've been to the doctors, I've spent the money, I've tried every point of access to getting well, and it just has not happened yet. And well, maybe he doesn't even have a yet in his sentence. I mean, 38 years is a long time to be dealing with the condition that he's dealing with. Just put yourself in his shoes for a moment. Like, sometimes, like, we get upset when our prayers aren't answered within a few hours. Maybe it's just me. I'm like, "Lord, what are you doing to me now?" But it sounds like he went down every avenue, and discouragement was there. But look at Jesus's response. Then Jesus said to him, "Get up!" Exclamation mark. "Pick up your mat and walk." Period. Like, no more excuses. No more get up, pick up your mat, and walk. And then verse 9 says, at once the man was cured. He picked up his mat and walked. The day on which this took place was a Sabbath. And then the Jewish leaders were throwing a fit. Because you know how that religious spirit is. Like, that's not with the rules. You can't do that. Well, anyways, so nothing really special happened. He just said, take up your mat and walk. Or pick up your mat and walk. just by saying, he didn't lay hands, he just said it. And then the man did it. And then there was some context in there, but for this video, because we're already at 5 minutes, we'll skip down to 14. Later, Jesus found him at the temple and said to him, "See, you are well again. Stop sinning, or something worse may happen to you." Sounds like a warning, like you've had deliverance, and so now stop it, because something worse might happen. So that's like that's our response, or that's how we're supposed to steward our freedom, right? We get set free, and then we don't go back into it. Something worse might happen. That's what Jesus said. Something worse may happen to you, period. And then, and then it says, then the man went away and told the Jewish leaders that it was Jesus who had made him well. So just because you've tried every avenue, every doctor visit, every medicine, it just takes one encounter with the Lord. Like throw on some worship music and just be like, Lord, here I am. Have your way. Maybe he'll tell you to pick up your mat and walk. So if you're disheartened, if you're weary today, don't lose hope. Don't grow weary in doing good, and guard your heart. We need to guard our hearts, right? So, just step into his courts with, his gates and his courts with praise and thanksgiving, and see where that leads you. Because it's not the end until it's the end. It's just so encouraging. Like 38 years, could you imagine dealing with something for 38 years, and then here comes Jesus. One word: pick up your mat and walk. So today, I tell you, pick up your mat and walk in the authority of Jesus Christ, right? So I hope this blessed you. I love you guys. Thanks for joining me for coffee this morning, and a whole lot of Jesus. We need a whole lot of Jesus, right? So until next time, love y'all.